Yo, how you guys doing? It's your boy Beastly back at it again with, ironically, not a How To Dynasty episode. This is going to probably end up being its own series. Let me know in the comments down below what I should do here, but a lot of people, whether it's my first episode where I do an in-depth breakdown of the best coach build, all the perks in the game, stuff like that, or, you know, my recruiting video, I get these comments a lot, and most of them involve either me insulting specific perks in this game, whether it's tactician, whether it's architect, whether it's strategist, all this, you know, sort of stuff where people more or less tell me, hey, you know, you're slandering my perk, it's an insult to me and my personality and stuff like that, which, by the way, it's not meant to be, just me throwing out an observation. And I have tested this perk, right? This video, spoilers, is going to be about architect. I'm going to be putting architect under the UV light to seeing what germs arise in front of us, but yeah, this video will be about architect, but in general, I'm probably going to do more of these testing / experimental videos, so slap a like on the video if you actually enjoy this stuff or any other content. I appreciate y'all. You guys have blown all of my videos for CFB 26 out of the water in the last 6 or 7 days, so appreciate y'all. Much love. Appreciate all 400 or 500 of you guys that have joined the fam in the last weekend. So yeah, this video is going to more or less be about architect, and I've done this testing in CFB 25. It did not impress me. On average, in CFB 25, I was getting 1 token per, on average. One upgrade per season, which is abysmal. Considering how much you have to spend to even get into Architect, to then doing it like that, it was atrocious. The math was really bad. Then I got this game, and more or less the first week I spent playing this game, I was doing a bunch of testings, you know, off stream, off cam. But as per everything on YouTube, if you don't do it while the camera is recording, nobody believes you. So that's where this video is going to come. I have on a piece of paper, I'm not going to count, I'll tell you the final number at the very end, but I have about 20 or so people on this team I've made with this build. We're going to have 4 quarterbacks, 1 running back, 3 receivers, 3 tight ends, 2 tackles, 2 centers, 2 guards, and actually 2 left tackles, 2 centers, 2 right guards, and 2 right tackles. I'm not going to do that math right now, but I have a bunch of people written on a piece of paper where I have their skill caps pre-saved. I don't have to do any extra math, and I'm just going to go upgrade them. Now, for the sake of this video, this is going to be a very long video, long scientific nonsense stuff, so I'm going to cut out the parts of me just upgrading the players and counting the pixels of like, okay, when did architect trigger, yes or no, and all that nonsense. So just so I'm going to show you the skill caps before and after. That way the video doesn't end up being like 7 hours long. Alex Mann, he is going to be the first person on the screen. He's a pocket passing quarterback. Here are his skill caps. If you would like to know, I have them written down. His skill caps goes as follows: 9, 7, 10, 6, 8, 3. The next quarterback we have on the list is Elijah Riggins. Here he is. His skill caps are 4, 0, 9, 8, 3, 6. And if you're wondering where I'm getting these numbers from, it's just how many slashed out bars it is. So yeah, 4, 0, 9, 8, 3, 6. And then last, we have Earl, the best quarterback on this roster, which, so you guys know, I have not recruited any of these guys. This is pure auto recruit to get the most amount of development traits, normal, impact, star, elite, all across the board. And Earl's is 1, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1. So he's by far the best of all of them. So hopefully, if the perk triggers a lot, he'll have the best results and he'll have nothing left, assuming the perk somehow manages to surprise me. Even though, spoiler alert, I've done this test 3 times. This is my official 4th test. I don't think it's going to, really do much, but hey, you never know till you know. So I'm going to go upgrade these guys and come back to you with what I found. Well, that was a very interesting session I just did. So if you're curious, I upgraded a total of 52 upgrades. And spoiler alert, only 5 times did Architect trigger out of 52 upgrades for the quarterback room. So, as you can see, for Alex Mann, his old skill caps were 9, 7, 10, 6, 8, 3. His new skill caps are 8, 7, 10, 6, 8, 3, meaning he got 1 upgrade in 20 attempts. And just because I know there's going to be people in the comments like, well, Architect only technically can trigger when the overall goes up, so specifically for this upgrade, I upgraded the 2 most important stats, which was QB accuracy and IQ. So yeah, having a 1 in 20 off rip is insane. For Elijah Riggins, up number 2, his skill breaks was 4, 0, 9, 8, 3, 6. His new total is, as you could probably guess, 4, 0, 9, 8, 3, 6. He did not get a singular skill cap. He went 0 for 9, which is insane. He went 0 for 9. But wait, There's more. Earl, my boy Earl, who had the most tokens, 125 tokens, and he was the best quarterback here, ironically enough. He got the most substantial upgrade. His skill caps were 1-4-1-1-2-1. Now his new skill caps are 0-3, can't read my own writing, 0-3-0-1-1-1. So he got 4 upgrades, which is insane that the quarterback who didn't need the architect to trigger to proc got the most to proc, which is kind of, I'm going to, after I get done recording my data, give you my general thoughts at the very end. But TLDR, going 5 out of 52 for the first position group is pretty mental. That is really bad. Considering that 4 of the 5 came with 1 player, more or less if you just subtract their data, it's 1 out of 29. That is just atrocious odds. But, we don't do things off a small sample size. On to the next one. Now, unfortunately, my entire running back room is kind of not there at the moment. So we only have 1 running back to test, and that is Ronnie Chun. His skill caps are 3-1-4-2-9-6. And let me go ahead and spend these tokens and do the math and update y'all on what they changed to. Well, that was a lot more impressive. So we got 4 upgrades with the running back. We upgraded all elusiveness, and Architect actually did trigger 1 time. So for the running back group, it's 1 out of 4, which is a 25% rate, which is just absurdly high. But to be fair, the running back group is just 1 position. So, that's going to kind of inflate that for a bit. Next, let's go to receivers to keep going. The first receiver I have written down is Warren Hinish. Where is W Hinish? Here we go. Warren Hinish. Normal dev. With, an interesting amount of skill caps. Warren Hinish's skill caps are 4-0-7-4-8-4. Those are his skill caps. Next player is Xavier Willett, which I'm assuming is, oh, here we go. Impact dev. Gotta show that diverse amount of dev trait. Also 4-star. Willett his skill caps are 3-4-0-5-4-1. I do believe, if I read that correctly on my paper. Then lastly, we have Aiden Matty, who is star, so we actually get 1 of each dev trait right here besides elite. And his is also really good, 0-0-3-2-4-3. Those are all their skill caps. Now I'm going to go spend these, and you guys know the drill. Well, that was an incredibly insightful showcase. So, for our receivers, 1 got 9 upgrades, 1 got 26 upgrades, and the third one got 28 upgrades. And as you could probably guess where this is going, the receiver that had the least amount of upgrades had, ironically, the least amount to improve. He improved 2 out of the 9, that being Warren Hinish, which I guess I can go ahead and throw him on the screen while I yap. But yeah, Warren Hinish got 2 upgrades out of his 9. Xavier Willett, he got 3 out of 26, which is just insane. He got 3 out of 26. There they are right there if you don't believe me. And then lastly, the gentleman who I started the, clip with was Aiden Mandy, or Maddie. He had the most at 28 upgrades, and he had 5. Which, if you're curious what that math adds to, that means it was a 10 upgrades out of, or 10 architect triggers or procs out of 63 upgrades, which is approximately 15%. So we got a little below average with the QB room. We got significantly above average with the running back room, which again, there was 1 running back, so there you go. But then with the, receivers, it got brought back down to earth. Now I'm going to keep doing this for multiple position groups, but considering I am well over 100 total upgrades and we're still hovering around the odds I've been getting, this doesn't look like it's good or bad. It kind of looks like, if you do an experiment long enough, if you do the, numbers, you crunch the data over and over again, if you see a repeat number, there's a reason why you keep seeing repeat numbers. So there you go. On to the tight end room. First tight end we have is Teo. Oh, he's the first guy right here. He's normal dev. More showing here. And in my notes, I have 198002, which here we go, right here. Those are his skill caps. Next is Russ Pollard, which is this gentleman. Holy Christ, he has 200 upgrades. Oh, I'm going to be here for so long. Oh my God. His skill caps are 805035. There you go. If it took me forever to spend 126 tokens, 180 is going to be just insane. Then the third tenant I'm going to go upgrade is Dave Thomas. Where is Dave Thomas? Here you go. You don't look like a Dave Thomas, but again, I am not going to profile you, EA. You can do what you want. Dave Thomas's skill caps are 402640. There you go. And so yeah, be right back. Ironically enough, upgrading the tight ends was actually easier than the receivers. We're going to just share my results. So for this gentleman, Russ Pollard had the most upgrades. He had the most tokens at 44 upgrades. And out of those 44 upgrades, it only triggered 3 times. His the 2 skill caps that got removed was his 5 dropped to 3, and then his 3 dropped to 2. His old caps were 8050, I think 353, and now it's 8030253. I'm trying to like read over my chicken scratch, but either way, he had 44 upgrades, and out of the 44, he only got 3 of them, which is insanely low. Then we'll do Dave Thomas. Why not? Where's Dave Thomas? Here's Dave Thomas. He had only 10 upgrades. He had the lowest of the group. Dave Thomas also only had 1 singular skill cap removed. It was the 4th skill cap. It was lowered from 6 to 5. So he was 1 for 10. And then the last tight end had 21 upgrades. That is Vea Teo. Where is Vea Teo at? He had the second most at 21 tokens. And he also only had 1 drop. His second to last one dropped from a 2 to a 1. So there you go. His quickness got up. Which is just, if you're keeping track, that's 5 possible procs out of 75 upgrades. Making the math, what, 6 point something %? I ain't doing the decimal in my head, but that's pretty low. That's pretty low. I think already I have enough numbers to just do it, but I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 more position groups to go. So we're going to keep going. Next, we have 2 left tackles, so this one should hopefully be semi-quick. Trevor Crumpler. Where art thou? Here you are, Trevor Crumpler. He has 93 tokens. It shouldn't be too bad. Trevor Crumpler's skill caps are 967675, which, great upgrades. That should be fun. And then the next one we're going to be doing is Lee Cherry, or Lee... Oh, it is Lee Cherry. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting because I have messed up fingers. Beastly lore that you guys didn't ask for at home. Lee Cherry, 7811839. Again, just peak tokens. Now let me go ahead and spend these and see what I get. So this was about... Actually, this was worse than average. The tight ends, or the tackles, wow. So Trevor Crumpler's was 967675. His new now stat or cap total is 967565. He had 35 upgrades, and he only got 2 triggers, which is 2 out of 35 is really bad. Which, if these rates haven't already like just disgusted you, I assure you these rates are wow. Great perk, by the way. So Cherry. His was 7811839, and his new total is 7. Actually, is that 4? I can't do. My notes are so bad. Should definitely probably have like took pictures of this instead of writing all this chicken scratch. Beastly, read your paper. There we go. 7711829. The 2 caps he reduced was the second one was lowered from 8 to 7, and the second to last one was lowered from 3 to 2, making his 2 out of 20, which brings the tackle group total 4 out of 55, which is what, 6 or 7% again? Some astronomically low number. Wow, that is really bad, but there's no way it's going to get worse, right? We're skipping guards, going straight to center. We have Spencer Gibbs as the first experimentee. Spencer Gibbs, his caps are 400309. He's actually fairly good. And he's impact dev for all those people who leave comments saying, oh my god, I have to get first round picks, and oh my god, I have to do all this nonsense, or oh, 3 stars are bad. No, they're not. It's all RNG. You could have 3 stars with a bunch of skill caps. You could have 3 stars with no skill caps. It's just RNG. Anywho, not the video, but there you go. His is, again, to repeat, 400309. So he's probably one of the best impact 3 stars I've ever seen, with 58 tokens. And then the second center we will go after is Parker. I know it's not his name. We're going to call him Voorhees. Parker Voorhees. His is 569706. Again, I should probably just write better notes. 569706. Yeah, that's his cap. So there, I'm going to go ahead and spend these points, and let's see if Parker Voorhees can kill the results. I'm so funny. Parker Voorhees certainly did kill it. His numbers were 569706. His new numbers are 569605. So he had 2 procs, which is cool. Then Spencer Gibbs was 400309, and now Spencer Gibbs is what? 400209. So he had 1 trigger, which gives you a grand total of 3 total procs out of 38, which again, what are we hovering, like 8%, 9%? I'm not whipping out the calculator quite yet, but that is really low. That is bad. Like, these last 3 have just been bad. The QBs were about average. The receiving or the running back was above average, but to be fair, it was just a sample size of 1 group, but whatever. And then everything else has just been bad. So, holy crap, this is so bad. Next is guards. We have Parker Biggs, which is... We have 2 Parkers I'm testing this with. I didn't script that. That's insanely funny. Parker's is 888578. Wow, he loves the 8s. Good lord. You can tell he's a lineman because he loves to eat. Get it? The pun with 8. Anywho, next is Brian Montgomery. Great name. Certainly looks like a Brian Montgomery, if you ask me. His is 807462, and B writes back. Well, we finally got out of the gutter getting terrible rates. So, Brian Montgomery, his new cap total, his was 80, I guess I should probably have this on the screen, 807462, and now his new total is 80742. Whoopsies, that's supposed to say 4, but he lost 2. He dropped from 6 to 4, which is a net loss of 2. So he actually gained 2, which is pretty cool. Jotted that down in my notes wrong, and it doesn't really matter. The math is, he's 2 out of 24, so that's still pretty bad rates, but small. I knew what I meant in my own notes, which is frankly all that really matters here. Parker Biggs, his was 888578. Love the 8s. His new total is 678577, which is a 4 bump. So he actually gained 4. The other gentleman got 2, which is 6 out of 47 upgrades, which I believe is like what, 12 point something percent repeating. So I think finally the right guards got back to the average rate, or the mean, I should say. We are not done yet. We got one last position group to do, and I could do defense too, but there's really no point. I think when I have a sample size of over like 500 upgrades or whatever this math ends up being, I think I've done more than enough. Anthony Duzable, oh, it's this guy. His caps are actually pretty good. 5422, or I got 542559. The reason why I like repeat this stuff is that way if I miscount or if I do something wrong in the video, you guys can correct me in the comments down below. I am human. I'm sure I'm going to have a rounding error, or I'm sure I'm going to mess something up. I'm only human. But yeah, his are 542559. There you go. And then last we have Rashid, Eli. His are 836062. There they are. And I will upgrade these and then come back with my total, total math, everything, yada, yada, yada. So, BRB. Okay, so these numbers actually surprise me. I don't know how long this video is going to be because I'm going to be chopping out all the boring parts of me just sitting here for about an hour and a half and just upgrading all these players. There was a grand total of 372 points that were spent, or upgrades that were done. There you go. If you want to see whoever that was. Who was it? Doozball? Doozball was 2 out of 14. And then his friend, Eli, was 2 out of 24. Which brings a grand total, if you do all the math. And again, you guys are more than welcome to double and triple check me. Maybe I wrote something down in my notes wrong. Maybe I saw something wrong because I am just like doing pixels over here. So I'm sure my eyes got cross-eyed. But anywho, there was a total of 372 total upgrades. That's not perks spent. I probably spent over 1,000 upgrade points, but there was a 372 total upgrades. And the perk architect triggered 38 total times. Which, if you do the math, 38 divided by 372, that gets you 10.2 decimal. So we're going to just round that. Because if you guys, ever do any experiments, especially science with hand, there's always +2 or -2% because of human error. So that means that even though I got 10.2%, the number could be 12, and I got very unlucky. The number could be 8%. I got very lucky. So I'm going to go plus or minus 2% there, which does kind of reflect the numbers on my stream, because just in case I got, wildly different numbers, I did do this on my Hawaii stream. However, the sample size was much smaller. I spent a total of 100 upgrades there, not 372 here. And when I did that over there, I think I got 12.6% over there. So this time around, having a 3 times larger sample size, I got a number closer to 10% than 15%. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to again, say I got unlucky, considering I got 10.2 here, 12 over there, 12.6, 12.5 over there. So the number's probably, let's just round, between 10 to 15% chance for Architect to trigger, which is just disgustingly low. That is unacceptable. Why would you ever willingly waste time of your life buying this garbage ass perk on a 10 to 15% chance? Now, before those comments come, because I know they're going to eventually happen, well, Beasley, you don't have a coordinator to stack it. There's a reason why when I will do these science videos, why I don't involve my coordinators. The reason why is it's almost physically impossible to 100% of the time have matching coordinators. Right? Whether it's the beginning, middle, or end of your dynasty, at some portions, you will not have the thing you're stacking. So when I eventually do stack Strategist in the future, or actually when I eventually do test Strategist, I will not be stacking it with other perks. Because you have to get these architects to match with you. And I get it, it's like a meme on my channel, how like every time I go for an offseason looking for coordinators, I find architects, but like after about 10 years in a dynasty, architects become kind of rare. Everything kind of becomes rare. So you can't do these experiments and expect that, hey man, of course the perk's going to be bad because you're not stacking it. If you need coordinators to buff your perk sucks. Do you know what perk doesn't need to be stacked with anything to be really good? Talent Developer. You know what perk doesn't need to be stacked with anything to be really good? Elite Recruiter / some perks in Recruiter. Same thing with Motivator. These perks don't need to be stacked to be good. They are just good perks. I don't know why Architect and Tactician and Strategist get like this magical aura of just invulnerability where, oh my god, they can do no wrong. No, they can. And they quite frequently do. So considering that this little experiment, which is the 5th time I've done this in 2 years, 2 times on camera, 5 times total, 3 times off, these are about the numbers I got. When I did this last year in CFB 25, I think I got 14%. Earlier this year when I did it, I got about, I think, 14 or 13%. When I did it on my Hawaii stream, again, it was like 12 point something, and here I got 10.2. So it's pretty reasonable to assume the actual Architect number is somewhere between 10 to 15%, which is just ridiculously low. Unacceptable. Second, you have to devote so much to this build just to get this to work, which makes it even worse. I could tolerate Architect being bad if it was at least cheap, right? I bought all of this because when you do buy Architect to do with the thing you're supposed to do, which is when you're, increasing a random skill cap when you level up, that's tier 3. That's like most of it. Now, mind you, with this testing, I can't, I'm not going to go force myself, natty every year, just go test to put a ring on it. That'll be it'll take like 6 hours, 7 hours alone. I'm not doing that, but tier 3 sucks. Like flat out. And if you want tier 1 or 2 for the quote unquote extra XP, just get Motivator and just get Talent Developer, and I promise you, the extra XP this garbage perk gives you pales in comparison to Talent Developer and Motivator. Second thing I've learned from my experiment is the fact that you can't control what you upgrade is disgusting. The amount of times I was upgrading my linemen, and they would get like quickness upgrades, or I'd be upgrading my quarterback to get health, or, because you can't control what you get. So if you do all of it right, you have to spend a crazy amount of points to get a perk that doesn't really work. And when the perk does trigger, which is rarely, it's random. So you could get either like a god, skill cap of like speed, for example, or something stupid like health or power at a position that doesn't need health or power. So yeah, this was awful. This was I don't want to say a waste of my time. This was definitely a way of using my time, but this was terrible. This was trash. I've been known this was trash. But just for all the people in the comments who always, for some reason, glaze this perk, acting like it's the second coming of Jesus Christ. No. And if any content creator ever tells you to go out of your way to buy this god-awful perk, don't watch their videos. They're feeding you bullshit information. Bullshit. The other really funny thing I found out about doing this is that the players that ironically benefited the most from this perk were the players that didn't need to be benefit from this. So for a very quick example, because this video is on my end already 2.5 hours long. Don't know how long the video is gonna be for you guys, but for me it's 2.5 hours. I want to, move on with my life. But just an easy example, Earl, one of the many star dev players I tested, Earl didn't have that many skill caps to begin with, but he had one of the most. He was tied for first place with 4 upgrades. And the reason why is because Earl had the most to go in with it. So the irony here is you buy Architect to help the shitty 1, 2, and 3-star players to try to fix their skill caps to make them better. But the irony is because most of those players who have bad skill caps don't have a dev trait, they don't unlock enough XP to upgrade themselves enough to trigger Architect enough. All the players in this experiment that triggered it 0 or 1 times, all of them had low amounts of upgrades. Everyone who triggered it more than 2 or actually more than, I'm looking at my notes, 3 or more times, all of them were superstar dev with a bunch of tokens. My tight end, my quarterback, my lineman, they all have hundreds of tokens. So obviously the people that have tons and tons of tokens to burn will get most out of the upgrades. Because considering it's somewhere between a 10 to 15% chance, if you upgrade yourself 40 or 50 times, that's a lot higher of a chance to trigger the 10 to 15% versus if you're upgrading yourself like 3 times or 4 times or 10 times. So the whole purpose of the perk, which is to help bad players, ends up not even helping bad players. It ends up helping the good players already, but this dude doesn't need help. He's already star dev. As you can see, he didn't have like a crazy amount of tokens, and he's already a 93. So it's just a backwards perk. And if EA is just terrified of making the perk OP, the easiest way you could buff this perk to where it's actually useful without absolutely nuking the other perks or making this like the new meta perk. My 2 ideas is I feel like when you get a skill cap removed, it should affect every position or every player of that position. So for example, if Earl, Earl, my boy Earl, if he were to get one that triggered for accuracy, every other quarterback in my quarterback room should lose a notch to accuracy. That's how it should work. That way it's less of one person either getting really lucky or really unlucky, and it's more of a group. Because then if you stack this with every position group, right, if all running backs helped each other and all receivers helped each other, that would actually make the 10 to 15% make sense. Because, one person doesn't really help much, but when you have 4 or 5 or 10 people, that's a big difference. But EA, if you don't want to go down that route of like fixing it to where it affects all of a position group, could you at least fix the rates or change tier 1 and tier 2 to say something along the lines of like increased chance of upgrading a skill cap for a 3-star prospect or a 1-star prospect or a 2-star prospect? Because that's like the reason why you'd waste time with this perk. You don't need help with 4 and 5 stars. They can develop on their own. You would buy this for the bums, but you're not actually benefiting the bums because they're not going to be mostly normal dev, and so they're not going to upgrade enough to then trigger the thing. So you could easily just get rid of tier 1 and tier 2 from this tree, shove that in Motivator or shove that somewhere else, and just make it to where tier 1 stars have a 35% bonus rate of increasing a skill cap. And then tier 2 could be 2 stars have an increased chance of removing a skill cap. And then you can keep tier 3 the exact same way. That way, the really bad players, the 1s and the 2 stars, actually can see a lot. Because if you up the odds from 10 to 15% to like 40, 50%, where it's like a 1 and 2, that's a big deal, right? If you upgrade yourself 40 times and you get 20 skill caps removed, that's a colossal difference between upgrading yourself 40 times and getting 2 or 3 of them removed. So yeah, this perk sucks. Do not buy this perk ever. Even if you can get the perk for half off and you're doing the Ohio State / Georgia cheese, which by the way, if you're still watching this far into the video, let me know if you would like to see an in-depth video on how to perform the Georgia / Ohio State cheese. And I guess for the comment emoji for this video, you know what? We're going to copy the exact same one we had from the other video. Other time I did this, talked about this garbage perk, I said that called it the purple perk of doom. Down below, leave the purple like that devil emoji, whether smiling or frowning or whatever it does with its facial, features. Leave the little devil emoji down below, because to let me know you've watched approximately 3 hours deep into this video. But yeah, it's just, I feel like this perk should have got reworked last year. It was shit last year, and to the surprise of nobody, they just pretty much copied paste into this year like they have been doing. Don't ever buy this perk. For the love of God, please don't waste your points. Even if I got this perk half off, meaning it went from being 12 coach points to 8 coach points, I still wouldn't waste time buying this perk, because it's very easy to just get superstar or star dev / elite dev prospects who typically don't have skill caps. And then you can just mass print 99s. If you don't believe me, tune into the streams, watch my other videos. I can assure you, you don't need this perk. And I would honestly argue this perk kind of high-key hinders you, because even the perk bonus it gives you kind of sucks. Like, I just don't see a reason. It costs way too much to buy. It's in the tactician tree, which is already an L by itself. The perk sucks. It's expensive. Just buy CEO, buy program builder, buy literally anything over here. Just don't buy this. I absolutely appreciate y'all. Love y'all. This was a very long and, I don't even know what you guys are going to end up seeing in the video. This was a very long and grueling process to record everything. I'm going to go ahead and, give shout outs to the people in the Wall of Fame and wrap her up. As always, huge shout outs to every single one of you beautiful bastards who watch and support my content, whether you show up to the streams, watch the videos, like, comment, share, all that beautiful stuff. I appreciate y'all. You guys have no idea just how much you've impacted my life. Much love and appreciation. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, me a follow, or sub on Twitch. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you can, please become a member. It does support the channel a ton. You get perks such as voting in the Discord for future content, whether it's streams, videos, yada, 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 stuff like that. And you get access to all of my videos a day or two early. So if you want to watch my content early and have our own little special conversations in the comments of a private video, become a member. I'd appreciate that. And yeah, guys, I'll see you when I see you. Deuces.